I mean, come back and ask me what happened. I probably know for a couple hours and then it's gone. I don't. The only one that really stayed with me was the Jesus one, and that one will always be hard to forget. So okay, tell me what's going on.
I've just been experiencing some pain the past 2 weeks, and so I feel like this is another. Um, I don't know. It feels like it's going to another. It's almost like it feels like maybe I'm being birthed into something
Hmm.
else. Like there's this feeling of contraction and um, squeezing of the body and the muscles and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So
So is it all over your body, or is it in a particular place, or
just one particular place right now,
where is that?
the shoulder blade,
Okay, which one?
the left side.
Okay, so we've had a lot of stuff on the left side, so it's sort of been working its way with the left side, so I'm not surprised. And so we'll start there with just with the pain in the place, and then we'll see what emerges. Who knows? Like I said, we never know. Um, I have this sense that your accident was a doorway into something for you, into your life. It was this epic doorway, and it has this mixture of blessing and challenge, and it just keeps going back and forth to that. And as you become more open, then another level of challenge allows you to let go of something. So, but there was like when I see your accident, I see sort of like options, kind of like you came to a crossroads. The accident didn't let you go right; it made you go left. Do you know what I mean? There was like there was no choice but to go left. It feels to me like that. It's that momentous. And you were supposed to go left. There was something saying no right. And so
Hmm.
we'll see what's in the left shoulder blade. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna get you in a little bit of an altered state, and then I'm gonna arrive if that's okay.
All right, that sounds good to
Okay.
me.
Okay. So just paying attention to your body and your chair and how much you can connect. And even if how physically you can connect or not, just knowing that there's a chair supporting your body, and in your mind's eye, sensing your body connecting to the chair. There is support for you to sit upright. You're not laying down, you're sitting upright. So there is support for you to sit upright and feeling into that uprightness. And noticing hmm, the surface of the chair has a softness and a hardness. And the boundary between your body and the chair is a give and a take. So it's holding you, but it's sort of your body softens into it. And so there's a give and a take. And then in your mind's eye, just notice the floor and how solid the floor is. And then just allowing your mind's eye to go down to the foundations of the building, how solid their foundations are, keeping the floor level, present. And then just allowing yourself to drop down into the earth, Mother Earth, who is always present. And we are part of Mother Earth's advancement into awareness. We are like a cell in her body, like we have cells in our body. Our cells have awareness. The earth is aware of each of us as part of her body. And so she is always present, supporting. We all have a place, an emotion, and a manifestation that helps the earth move forward in her own awareness. So we are critical to the earth, and she is critical to us. Otherwise, we'd fly off into space or would have nothing to nurture us. So we are part of the earth. We can never be separate from it. And just feeling into that earth support, so deep and so loving. And so the earth is supporting you, the foundation, the floor, and the chair. Let's see who else shows up today. So Michael is here. There's a duck. A duck. Goose. Goose. Is it a goose or a duck? No, it's a duck. It's kind of like the Affleck duck. It's squawking away. It's not saying Affleck, but it's squawking away. I'm not sure why it's here, but it's here. Big white duck. Mother Mary has arrived, and she's down by your left leg. Actually, she sits on the floor. Usually, when she arrives for me, she's on. You know how people sit on their knees, because she puts her hand on the leg, on the thigh. Mary Magdalene has shown up, of course. She's always here when you're around. And Jesus is here, and he's standing in front of you with a soft gaze looking down. So we had that experience before, but this is the first time for me he has showed up as a guide or a support. And so if it's okay with you, I'm going to arrive. I think we have quite a few that are here. I'm sure more will come. But I'm just going to arrive, and I'm going to arrive about 6 feet away. And what side do you want me to come on? What feels right?
Left side.
Left side, okay. So I'm going to be behind you, kind of where that door is, that looks like a door. I'm just going to be inside of that door, just a ways away, and I'm just going to allow your body to get used to me being in this space. You can always tell when someone's body doesn't want me to come closer. Okay, your body's pretty used to me. Ooh. A big lioness has shown up on your right. She's telling me that she's one of your animal protectors. And so I'm just telling her, she wasn't here before, so I'm just letting her know that I'm not causing harm. She sat up and looked at me. She was laying down before. I'm telling her not to eat the duck either. The ducks are for purpose. Duck looks a little enticing, I think. Okay, so I'm just coming in on your left side, coming closer to your body. Yeah. And so if you don't mind, I would like to put my hand on your left shoulder blade. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so just let me offer your left shoulder blade energy. I'm not pushing anything. I'm not pulling anything, just offering. Oh, it's taking it right away. And I'm feeling led to put my other hand on your heart, on the front of your heart. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to put my other hand just on the heart, lightly on your heart, just offering energy. So your shoulder blade right away is taking energy. It's really pulling energy. So is the heart. Just offering. And what are you noticing as any images or any sensations, or what are you noticing?
Just feeling warmth on the shoulder.
Yeah. Huh. So a past life thing is coming up for me first. Yeah, I'm seeing a big gash across this shoulder blade, like it looks like, I don't know, 14th century, 1400s, maybe 1500s. You're working on a dock, And they're using big iron hooks to lift things off of ships. And you got caught right in the shoulder blade and it just ripped upward. Is what I'm seeing, a big rip on your left shoulder blade.
From pulling up,
Yeah, from
whatever.
the hook pulling up, it got caught. It first got caught on your clothes, but then it quickly ripped the clothes, and it just ripped up your shoulder blade, is what I'm seeing. And you died from the injury, obviously, because it really gouged. There was no coming back from it. And so I'm just asking. I want you to see this being in front of you, and notice that you're a column of light. Just a column of light. Your soul forms a column of light. And just notice that man that you were that worked on the docks, you kind of have crude clothes, a big shirt that's kind of dirty from working, and pants and shoes. They have you laying on the dock, and just invite him to stand in front of you and say to him, I see how you suffered,
I see how you suffered,
and I give what in this pain in my shoulder blade, I give it back to you. What is yours?
and I give this pain back to you. What is yours?
What part of it that's yours, I give back to you.
What part of is yours? I give back to you.
Yeah. And I ask you,
And I ask you,
would you like to come home? Because it's a soul part of yours, right? So it's a part of you that it needs to be integrated into you. So can you say to this man, are you ready to come home to the soul?
I ask you, are you ready to go home to your soul?
Yeah, to come home because you have the soul. It's a light around you. I
To come
invite you
home.
to come home
I invite you to come home
in wholeness and in health.
in wholeness and in health.
And I integrate all the skills and knowledge that you learned in your lifetime,
And I integrate all the skills and things that I have learned,
that you have learned in your lifetime.
that I have learned in this lifetime.
Yeah, and does he want to come closer? Just notice what he's doing. Is he willing to come and to come home?
Yes.
Okay, so just kind of welcome him home. And what that does is he just walks into the light. That's all he does. And he's walking into the light in wholeness and in strength and health. He's not walking in as a injured being. He's walking home. And all the story of what happened with the hook is left in the timeline where it belongs like a dream. Does that make sense to you? It's not coming in, then none of that's coming with him.
Yes.
It's all left in the timeline like a dream. He walks into the soul whole and healthy because the soul is perfect. And the body that died has returned to its history and its own timeline where it belongs, like a memory, like a dream. And I still have my hand on your left shoulder blade, and I have my other hand in the front of the heart, just lightly resting on your heart, offering energy to the shoulder blade and the heart, and they're both taking energy. Tell me what you're noticing now with your shoulder blade, if anything.
I'm not really noticing anything.
Yeah, good. So we'll just sit here until we see something, what else wants to emerge. I'm seeing the oddest thing. I'm seeing you as a woman in a ball gown, aristocracy. I'm hearing France, 1700s. So I'm not seeing part of the story that would relate to the shoulder blade yet, but that's what's come at the moment. So I'm just waiting to see what is here. Her name is Annabelle, she says. And she's putting her hand, her finger to her lips and saying to me, "Shh, don't tell anyone." And I'm going, "Oh, okay. Let's see where this goes." I'm seeing her now running. She's running away, like down a road, running. And there's like a coach with horses that are following or chasing after her. She's running away from something. And the road is muddy. And she slips and falls, and a carriage wheel goes over goes over the left side, but it crushes the shoulder blade, and it goes in. It actually also crushes your shoulder, how it goes over, but the main thing it first crushes is the shoulder blade. And she dies of internal injuries, and no one sees her in the road because the some man is chasing her, someone she's very afraid of, and he just keeps going and leaves her in the mud. So you're being, in a past life, you were this woman that was run over by a carriage, and it crushed your left shoulder blade and went on to crush your shoulder as well. So if you're feeling the two, your shoulder blade and shoulder connected in this pain in some way, it's not surprising. And now that we can see her, I'd like you to have Annabelle stand in front of you in your mind's eye. You can say, "I see you.
I see you.
I see how you suffered and died."
I see how you suffered and died.
Yeah. And notice you still have a calm of life that's your soul that's shining all around you. And you can say, "Annabelle, that was the past,
Annabelle, that was the past,
and this is the present.
and this is the present,
And I invite you home."
and I invite you home.
And what is she doing when you invite her home?
She's walking towards the light.
Okay. So just feel yourself embracing her into the light with all of the things and skills and talents that she had is coming back into your soul. And the horrific accident is and she's coming in with wholeness and health as all souls do. And what was the accident and her horrific death is now going back to the timeline where it belongs, like a memory in a dream, because it was buried with her. And her soul no longer has to be part of your shoulder blade. It just is coming in as light and wholeness and health. And just feel that part of you that's returning to the soul. She's very beautiful, very um, musical. She's very musically talented and liked to dance. Had a very light spirit, beautiful spirit. So you're inviting all those things into yourself. Mhm. And do you feel that landing?
Hmm.
Okay. And so I still have my hand gently on your left shoulder blade. And I'm feeling like I need to move my other hand on your collarbone. Is that okay? It feels
Yeah.
like
Yes.
collarbone and because that really got collarbone and up to the shoulder. I'm feeling like I need to place, in the right, there's like a bowl that goes in on the underside of your collarbone up toward the shoulder, and that's called an acupuncture. It's called a bowl, and in it is a spiritual place. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my finger and just put a little bit of pressure there, if that's okay, just to open that point. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling led to open that left side spiritual point. Hmm. And so I'm going to take my other hand and cross it over and put it on the other side. It feels like I need to open both these points. So if you look at my hands, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting it's right in those 2 points that are spiritual bowl points. I'm just putting my fingers and just pressing gently and opening up the spiritual point.
Right on the collarbone or right underneath it?
Yeah, so the collarbone's right here. It's right underneath. Here's my collarbone. It's just underneath there, just before the shoulder. There's like an indentation place, and that's a spiritual a point in acupuncture. It opens up. It's a spiritual gate, and so I'm just feeling led to open these gates for you. So that's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
And it feels important to cross my arms because there's some kind of polarity that's involved here. So I'm just going to hold this and just kind of pay attention to your body and your mind and just what's happening, and let me know when if you have anything you want to share. Hmm. I'm getting you were an Egyptian priest. You served at one of the temples. I'm seeing you kind of laying in a sarcophagus like this. Hmm. So you were poisoned in this life because someone was jealous of your power and insight. And so this you are in like a Egyptian headdress, like a pharaoh would wear, sort of. That's what it looks like to me. And in a white linen robe with jewelry, with turquoise and gold jewelry. And I would like you to bring this being in front of you. I can't pronounce his name, so he said, just call me Al. So there's always a bit of humor with spirits. So can you just see Al standing in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to say, I see you.
I see you, Al.
Yeah. And I know you were poisoned and suffered.
and I know you were poisoned and that you suffered.
Yeah. And I would like you to just invite him to come home. I invite you to come home.
I invite you, Al, to come home.
And I invite all of your skills and talents as a priest and all the knowledge that you had to come with you.
And I invite you to bring your skills and your talents and everything that has brought you to become a priest with you.
Yeah. And your poisoning and how your body suffered, it's left in the timeline where it belongs. And I invite you in health and wholeness to come home.
And you're poisoned. You being poisoned from the past is in the past.
Yeah,
I invite you now to come home into the light.
yeah. You're whole and healthy as a soul,
You are whole and healthy as a soul,
and you are part of me,
and you are a part of me,
and I am part of you.
and I am part of you.
And I thank you for bringing your gifts.
And I thank you for bringing your gifts.
Yeah. And what are you noticing when that happens? Anything?
He's walking into the light.
Yeah. And just notice as each of these walk into the light, they just kind of merge with the light because they're merging at a soul level. So there's no physical body. The physical body is like shed and doesn't come into the light. It goes back into history like a memory or a dream. And you no longer have to carry it basically in your body. So I'm feeling like that is done. So I'm going to go back to the heart and back to your left shoulder blade. And I'm just going to put my hands back there. I feel called to go back. Just offering energy. The body can take it anywhere it needs to go. And just kind of tell me what you're noticing. Is there any pain there at all, or is it more or less, or what are you just kind of noticing?
It doesn't feel like there's anything going on in the shoulder right now.
Okay. I still feel like it's it's not taking as much energy, so I'm just going to check and see. The heart's still taking energy. So I'm going to take, because the shoulder blade seems to be done for now. Is that your sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm feeling like, is there another place where I need to put my hand on your back? It feels like there's something on your back, and this is what I'm struggling with. Is it the heart or is your kidneys?
It feels like it's more of the lower back
Yeah,
area.
sort of the sacrum level, where your hips connect to your back. There's a sacrum. Does it feel there? I'm just trying to. No,
It's
it's not
it
quite there either.
feels like it's more possibly in the kidneys area. Doesn't feel
Yeah.
like it's on the hip. It just feels like it's
Yeah, it
mid to
feels to
lower
me like
back.
it's the left kidney, which is a little higher. It's like in the lower back, but just a little bit higher. It just feels like something's happening with the kidney. So I'm just going to put my hand on your left kidney. That's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just feels like it needs support in some way. So the kidney in Chinese medicine is the engine for the body. I don't know if you know that. It's the energy. It was where your energy for life comes from, is the kidneys. So when the kidneys are strained, then you'll find yourself with less energy, less life force.
Mm.
And so it feels to me like your left kidney is struggling, and your adrenals sit above the kidney. So I'm also touching your adrenals on the left side. So because they seem to feel, they feel exhausted to me, like it's been working too hard. So I'm just going to put my hands here on the uh um spirit wants me to do both your kidneys. There's something happening with your kidneys and your adrenals. So I'm going to go on both sides if that's okay with you and just see what happens. I'm just offering your kidneys and your adrenals just our energy. Not pushing, not pulling, just offering. Hmm. And a triangle is showing up for me. So when that happens, there's some kind of movement that needs to happen. So your kidneys are the base of the triangle and your heart is the point. I'm just kind of noticing that energy that's going from, let's see what direction is, it's unwinding. So it's going from your left kidney to your right kidney to your heart and back down to your kidney. It's going in a counterclockwise direction and it's pulling out something. It's unwinding something. Let's say it's unwinding is a better way to say it. And so I'm just going to sit here and feel into that movement of unwinding. I asked, is there any possession or anything here? That's not what's here. It just is um, something needs to be released from here, and we may not know what that is. If you get any images or memories, that would be helpful. But you may not, so it's okay.
It feels like there's like a crushing or like kind of like a coming forward like there's a crunching or like a coming down into my torso into my coming forward almost like feels like it's like crushing or something like that
Okay.
with it with a diaphragm.
Ah, so it would be at the diaphragm level where the kidneys, where I have my hands for the kidneys. So it must be also involving the diaphragm. And so what I'd like you to feel into, and you don't have to know the story or the image, is you're just here for a yes or a no, okay? So what I'd like you to do, is this from this life or another life? Yes or no? Another life? Whatever comes, don't think about it.
I get yes.
Okay. I'm also getting a yes to this life, so both must be present. So what I'm going to do is just see what's here. Well, so I'm getting like, you look like a um, like a crusader, but you're like in the Holy Land, like the Templar. You look like a Templar actually, and you're being sliced in half with a sword. So there's like a direct cut across this whole area and sliced in half. And of course, that slice was a deep one. And the slice originated in the back, not the front. So it's interesting, all these injuries are on the back. You're not coming from the front. So it's something interesting to note that there's a history. And so I'd like you to see this Templar knight standing before you. He's not real tall. He's probably about 5'5", 5'6". It looks like very kind of stocky. He's telling me his name is Andrew. He has like one of those white tunics with the red cross that the Templars used to wear. But underneath is chainmail, and he has a helmet on of that time.
What time period is this?
This is the Templars, so it was like, what is it, 1300s, was it? 1400s, something like that. During what, they were in the Holy Land fighting the Islamic sheiks. But it wasn't a curved knife. It looks like a actual broadsword that cut you, and it came from the back. So it came while you were on horseback. So there's another warrior that was on horseback, is what I'm seeing. And it came at you from the back and sliced the back at the kidneys and went through to the diaphragm. So that's kind of a slice that's there. And of course, you died almost, not instantly, but it didn't take very long. And so I'd like you to invite, remembering that you have a column of light, that's your soul around you. And I'd like you to look into the eyes of Andrew and see him standing before you. And notice the incredible faith this man had to leave home and to fight for his beliefs at a very profound level. He has a warrior spirit, just a deep, courageous warrior spirit. And I'd like you to say to Andrew, I see you.
I see you, Andrew.
Yeah. And I invite you to come back home to the soul.
And I invite you to come back home to the soul.
And bringing all of your qualities and skills and knowledge with you. All of it is welcome.
And bring in all of your qualities and skills and all the things that make you who you are. That's great. I
Yeah,
invite you to bring it with you
yeah. Because I am you
because I am you
and you are me.
and you are me.
We share the same soul.
We share the same soul.
Yeah. And your body that was injured and died is now dust.
And the injury that happened to your body now is in dust, in the dust.
It's part of memory and story.
It's part of memory and story.
But your living soul self is invited home.
But your living soul that is you is inviting you to come home
Yeah. And be part of your bigger soul
and be part of your bigger soul
that lives with me.
that lives within me.
Yeah. And just notice him walking into the light and becoming part of that light and not separate from it. And his physical body is now resting in the dust and is part of the memories and the stories of that place. Part of the dust of Israel and part of the dust of Jerusalem, part of the dust of a holy place. But his soul is no longer trapped there. It's come home. Oh, and now I'm feeling the energy between the kidneys and the adrenals and the heart is going in a clockwise direction. So something's shifted when he came into the soul. And now the energy is going in a clockwise direction. And when energy travels in a clockwise direction, it is in a direction of receiving. So you're going to start feeling like you're receiving energy. So the counterclockwise was just to put things in order, right? To release and put things in order. And now it's shifted to a clockwise direction. And the healing energy is coming in, and movement is coming in. I was feeling the heart really kind of aching before, and it's better. I don't know what's happening with your heart.
I'm not noticing anything
Okay.
there.
And now your kidneys are taking in energy. They kind of were stopped taking in energy, but now they are. They're taking in quite a bit of energy, which is a good thing. And your adrenals are also taking energy. And what are you noticing in your body? Anything in particular you're noticing? Or?
Some pressure on the lower back.
Hmm. So I'm going to hang out here with the kidneys a little longer, and then I'll put my hand down by your sacrum. Because I originally saw your sacrum, but I thought, oh no, the kidneys come first. This kidney treatment is going to give you a lot of energy. So I will ask you not to expend the energy, if that makes sense. Because I'm feeling so good, so let me do this and that and this and that. What I'll ask you to do is take this energy and allow it to settle into your body. Okay? Whenever I've had these kinds of treatments, I feel so good. I run around and then use it all up in like a day. so, so I'm just asking you just to allow that to land and stay and rejuvenate your body. It needs to sit there like I've recharged a battery, allow it to sit there. Mm. Oh, something's releasing.
We have releasing.
Yay! Body and the nervous system is finally saying, okay, I let go, I let go.
There's been a lot of fast breathing, hyperventilation at nighttime the past
Yeah.
week or two, and
Well, you might.
it seems like the diaphragm and the chest are not communicating, or there's something about having difficulty activating the muscles in the diaphragm in the stomach.
Well, you might have been getting in touch with this past life, which you were cut in half. So now that it's kind of been released, it may be this, that may get better. What happens is before sessions, whether you booked it or not, your body knows what it's going to be, and it starts landing. Starts landing. Wow. Yeah, the vagus nerve is still not releasing, though. I'm just waiting for it to release. You have a parasympathetic vagus nerve that goes from the heart down into the belly. And I'm feeling like it's kind of trapped in the heart trying to go down. Because I have some energy going up, but I'm waiting for the energy to go back down again. I am struck by how many past life injuries you've had to your back. It's striking, actually. And I'm going to go now. Instead of on your right side, I'm just going to actually take my hand that's on your right kidney and just put it on my heart, on the heart, if that's okay. Feels like something needs support in the heart. And I call all the soul parts that have left Andrew's body, all those that are ready to come back, I call them back into the heart. They are so very welcome. All those that are ready to come back, I call them back to Andrew. And all those soul parts that Andrew has that are not his, he now gives back to where they belong. And just feeling that Andrew's soul is feeling fuller and fuller after today.
Are you referring
With
to Andrew or Adam?
Adam, sorry. Did I say angel?
Angel, Andrew, yeah, it all works.
All of those parts that came back today from past lives are here, but there were other parts that have gone out just because of tragedy events, things that just were too painful to deal with. They just leave. Much of them are childlike parts. A big chunk left with your accident, different parts of you during that accident experience left because it was so overwhelming. And so we're just inviting all the parts of the back that left to come back.
Mm.
Just enter into the heart. They are so very welcome. The past lives that are welcome, those souls that have come back, the soul parts of joy, the parts of courage, the soul parts of in yourself as in your fate, calling all those pieces back and welcoming them back. Welcoming all those soul parts. Evidently have to make room for them that are ready to come back and are invited back into the heart, back into the soul, the column of light. I want you to imagine almost like birds or butterflies or something. I don't know what image you have. I have an image of butterflies for some reason, of flying back into that column of light. That is your soul that we've been working with all day, all this time. And just notice them flying back into that column of light. All those parts that left, and you don't even have to know what they are. We're just welcoming them home. So I'd like you to say, I welcome all my parts that are ready to come home.
I welcome all my parts that are ready to come home.
They are so very welcome.
They're so very welcomed.
And I release those parts that are not mine
And I
and,
release those parts that are not mine
and send them home.
and send them home.
Yeah. So you'll find that there's kind of this outward movement, then there's an inward movement, and an outward movement, and then an inward movement. If you'll notice, you feel the energy. The inward movement is the soul parts coming back that are yours, and the outward movement is giving back the soul parts that belong to others. And just feeling that movement of inward and outward, coming into the light like butterflies and being released like butterflies or birds or whatever works, or an image. And just sense that balancing that's occurring. It's like a movement. And what are you noticing in your body? Anything? Is any part of your body that's aware, or what are you noticing?
Not really noticing anything in particular.
Okay. And you don't have to. I was just curious. It's more about curiosity. I'm sensing the heart is not feeling so much pressure as I was feeling as we started. There's something releasing in the heart. Some old person is showing up, and it feels like it's in your ancestral lineage. I don't know her. She says her name is Babs. I don't know what that means. If that's even familiar to you. If there's someone in your lineage that had a nickname that was Babs, it's a grandmother. She's
Mm.
pretty quirky is not quite the right word. Um she's like, the musical Auntie Mame. She's kind of like that kind of person where she's kind of audacious. She's a grandmother. I'm not sure what she's coming. I'm hearing from your father's line, so I don't know if there's a Babs in there somewhere. If you ever hear Babs when you're talking to your parents or anybody in the family says, well, she was called Babs, then you can fall on the floor and say, I can't believe that. She's telling me her name is Babs. I said, well, what was your real name? She said, it's not important. Everybody called me Babs. I thought, okay. But she's got this sort of outrageous grandmother energy where she was audacious and dressed boldly and said what she thought. And I'm not sure why she's showing up, but she's really in the field. Oh, she's saying, we come from a strong stock, just to let you know. And she's also here to tell you she's here to help. She had incredible courage. Her life, it feels like her life was a hard one, but she just kept rising above it. She says, we have that gift in our family, that we rise above it, that we expand, not contract, is what she's telling me. That it is time now for you to expand, not to contract. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does, surprisingly.
Yeah. She's reminding you it's now a time of expansion and you have all the support you need. And when stuff gets a little scary, you can always call on her. She says, I will help. She's really, the energy she offers, I'm just telling you, is a little audacious. It might not be quite as familiar to you. I don't know. I haven't seen your audacious side. I'm assuming there is one, but I haven't seen it because you and I do serious work most of the time.
When you mean audacious, what?
Well, it's living life boldly. So in some ways, it's like, I don't give a crap what anybody thinks. I'm going to dance if I don't care if nobody else is dancing. I'm going to smoke cigarettes, even if women don't smoke cigarettes. She just had this audacious spirit to confront life with, even in the face of and she had, I'm getting a sense there's a lot of tragedy in her life, but even in the face of that, she just boldly went with this sort of, I don't give a crap about what you think. I'm going to be who I am as a person. She was the kind that would smoke cigars and dance on tables, that kind of audacious energy of meeting life not just with courage, but with almost extravagant courage. It's almost that kind of feel. Very kind-hearted, though. It's never, her audacious behavior was never to hurt anyone. It just broke boundaries. She says, you're not going to fence me in with this stuff. I'm going to be who I am, and I don't care what you think. So there's an audaciousness about her that's really very charming. very artistic. I'm getting a very artistic feel from her.
I'm curious what time was she?
Um, I'm asking. She's on your father's side. She's an auntie, she's saying. So she's not like a mother of a mother of a mother. Do you know what I mean? She's an auntie, a sister. In your father's line, she's an aunt. She was like, she said, she's like she was a spinster aunt.
She was a spinster aunt.
Yeah, she was an aunt, 3 or 4 generation. I'm getting between 3 and 4, so I don't know what that means. Um, but she never married, and she just lived her life the way she wanted. And if you think about 3 generations ago, or 4 generations, I don't know why it's 3, 4. It's odd. Um, it was hard to be audacious as a woman. You
And
pretty much,
yeah, and a generation could be 50 years. It could be 100 years. What is it?
well, let's see. So it'd be the generation of your either your great grandfather or your great great grandfather's generation, and it was a sister, so it was an aunt of your, and it's in your dad's line, so it's aunt. And I'm getting it's up from a male relative, so it's like your great great grandfather's sister, or yeah, it's a sister. She says I'm an aunt. I didn't marry. I didn't have time for that. So she adopted children along the way, in a sense of mentoring them or helping them to find, but she stays in the field helping in that way to break the bonds of convention. Someone having to be the feel of being locked down and having to live in convention. She just didn't do that at all. And very big hearted and kind, but she just didn't back down for anybody. She did what she lived her life the way she wanted to. It's real clear. I'm just seeing a flapper dress, but she's not like you know how the flapper dresses have these tall, thin women. She's not tall and thin. She's not. She's just kind of chubby and wears what she wants and does what she wants and doesn't give a crap. It's just really lovely. Actually, I like her energy a lot. And so when you want a sense of freedom and a sense of being your creative self, and not feel so hemmed in, because some days we all feel that, you just call Babs in. She says, I'll be there. I can show them. I know how to do this. And she'll just come into your field because she's hovering around you. She's one of your ancestral guides. She's pretty powerful. Most of the stuff that's been coming in has been on the feminine side and on the spiritual feminine. So it's a very soft kind of energy. She's a little bit different. She has like an edge to her. So she has more of a yang energy, more of a masculine kind of energy, but she's very feminine. But she's just wasn't this soft mother, let me cow underneath what people are telling me and just bake cookies and nurture the family. She was just not that. She didn't get married because she didn't want to be held down. She couldn't bear it. She was the master of her own little ship. Very delightful, actually. Yeah, the dress, normally when ancestors come in, I can tell what time frame because by their clothes, what they're wearing is one of the keys for me. So I see her in flapper clothes. So it must have been the 20s, maybe before the 20s. I don't know. She certainly was an innovator. She's telling me I know how to create life, to be very creative in life. Not to just sit in life, but to create life. It's like an active flow of creation. I know how to do that, she said. I can teach him that, she says. Yeah, she's got like wavy short hair, kind of plastered to her head, kind of wavy, with a band around her forehead, like a flapper dress. She's showing me how well she can dance. It's lovely. So I have my hand on the front of your heart and on the back of the heart. What are you noticing, if anything, with the heart?
Blue light.
Yeah, yeah. Just allow yourself to take in the blue light. It's very healing. Are you noticing anything around your diaphragm at all? Or your shoulder blade? Is any of that showing up, or is it pretty much gone for now?
Feels like it's pretty much gone. It feels soft and not pretty relaxed. The
Yeah.
diaphragm, stomach
Oh,
area,
oh, good.
and the shoulder blade as well.
Yeah, it feels to me like your back is really an epic area of your body. And what I mean by epic, you take in trauma through the back, not through the front. Where I take in trauma in an epic way, I take it all into the diaphragm. That's where all mine is stuffed. But I'm sensing that a lot of your trauma is taken in from the back. Um, and that slice in the diaphragm that's gone. I'm not seeing it there anymore. I'm being told that there's several layers in your diaphragm. So as they're ready, they'll gradually, you'll find it easier and easier to breathe. You're just holding a lot also in the diaphragm. It has to do with a startle response that started before your accident, really young. So you went and held it. So there's several instances where that happened, and it held the trauma in the body there. So it's not just past life that's there, but it's also present life traumas there. I'm seeing like three. Getting 3.5 layers, and I'm going, what is the half? I'm getting like in between numbers with you today. I'm not sure why that is. Is it 3 or 4? What is it?
Spirit says 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5. There's 3.5 layers here. So evidently one side of your diaphragm is affected in an instant that the other one wasn't. The other 3 are events that hit the whole diaphragm, but there's one where only one side was affected. And that's on the left. So there's 3.5 on the left and there's 3 on the right. And so bringing ourselves back and back. I'm feeling like the session is beginning to land for today. And just allowing it to land in the body. Feeling into all the parts that came back. And they fill your body with blue light, and knowing that that blue light will spread out to the rest of your body as our session just kind of spreads out and lands. Yeah, there it goes. Now I'm getting a release that's going down finally. I'm calling you back to your body, to this room, to this day. It's Thursday, July 18th. In this place, in this dimension, all are back here. I call all of it back to presence and now. Present and now in this space, in this time, in this dimension, in this location. And I call the blessing field down on Adam, that he may find joy, creativity, and dancing in his life, and that his body feel peace, wholeness, and health. And whatever comes, we all have different wholeness and health, and I call that down upon Adam with grace, and that his big heart be supported with love. And all those things that he needs to care for himself come to him with ease. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. All right. I think we are done.
I just want to ask before you go,
Oh, sure.
regarding ancestors, I don't really know much at all about on my father's side.
Yeah.
Is there, I know there's like ancestry.com. I don't know if there's other ones. I don't know what they show, or what if it would be helpful for me. Do you have?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So when I did it. I was doing some ancestral work with one of my teachers. And so I went out and looked, and I found the place where a lot of the trauma in my generation is landing from Finland. And a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with, I found out what happened. So, for example, my great grandfather immigrated from Finland, and they had 9 children, and of them, only 4 survived above the age of 3. All the rest died. And he had a twin that was stillborn. So there's patterns of that early death, that overwhelming, whatever happened in Finland. I imagine it was economic and resources were being challenged. Whatever happened there has come now down to my generation and in my mother's generation, but really in mine as well, with mental illness, depression, anxiety, with alcoholism and addictions. And several things have come down from that nexus of overwhelm. I was in the field that was so much that it couldn't be processed, and it's hung in the field as trauma.
And how were you able to access all that?
Well, my aunt had done a little bit of work, and then I just started looking what happened in Finland during this time, and try to get some answers about what happened, because it can help. But regardless if you know or not, you still can work with it and heal it in the field for yourself and for any other and other people that are in your family. When I do it at constellation work, I do it first for myself, but then I do ancestral work for my children or my nieces and nephews or any of the family that's being born into the future, that they won't have to live with those challenges. They'll have other ones, but with those, I'm healing those in the field, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
So anytime you do any kind of work, it's healing a field where those around you benefit. So karmic work really benefits your soul family that you get reborn with over and over again, taking on different roles. Sometimes you're the mother, sometimes you're the father, sometimes you're the kid, sometimes you're this, sometimes you're the husband, sometimes you're the wife, sometimes you're the child. But you get reborn over and over again as a family, as some kind of unit. And so when you do karmic work, you're actually doing the work for the family as well. So there is a sense of family that benefits. you first benefit, but there's also a larger energetic field that benefits.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure to see you again. I just love your smile. It was so nice when you came out and you had this big smile. I thought, oh, this is so great.
Yeah, it's I've been anticipating this, and as soon as I message you, it's like there was like I felt like a shift in me to become more I don't know if we're not like serious, but like it seems like the past couple of weeks have been uh, just not very focused,
Yeah,
and just going through a lot of body stuff. And so as soon as I messaged you, it was almost like an intention, like to to um, to see what's here,
yeah,
and focus on the yeah, just whatever it is, you
yeah.
know.
We always have an adventure. I
Yeah.
never know what'll happen in our sessions. They're always interesting to me.
Well, thank you for joining me on my adventure.
Oh, I love your adventure. You have one of the best adventures of all my clients, so I enjoy your adventures.
All
You
right,
now
cool.
have a very, very strong ancestral presence that will help you. And she's very creative, and she lived on the edges her whole life. It wasn't to live out a pattern that everybody says this is how you should be. She lived out her own life. And your life is not what everybody thinks it should be.
Yeah,
And I think as you expand, you'll discover that that's who you are.
beautiful. All right. Thank you again.
Have a blessed day. It
You
was
too.
great to see you again.
Me too.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye.